Alrighty. So step one we'll do together. Here we have 120 clock hours. Of the 120 clock hours, this is what's considered a student-centered class. So just like you guys have student-centered focuses in your Head Start program where the children do the majority of the work, 90% of the work is going to be done and completed with the students in your environment. You're not going to do it for them. You provide and foster the opportunity. You intentionally create opportunities. The same thing happens here. So I'm here to lecture for an hour a week. However, you guys have a lot of outside classwork that you'll be completing. Our program is broken up into three components: the instructional, and that's going to be your lecture and your out of class resources. Peggy, if you can get with me one day this week, and perhaps we can troubleshoot when we're outside of the classroom and see if we can get things working with your computer. That'd be great, okay? But for tonight, just use whatever you can so that you can push through just the 45 minutes that we have together. So your instructional, so you'll be like will be consist of your lecture and any of your out of class. It says resource. I'm sorry, out of class assignments. Your out of class assignments are going to consist of self-paced classes, or what we call standalone classes. So if you guys are participating in like Pro Solution or CCEI, or even sometimes the state has different type of programs where you just do it on your own, but there's not an instructor there. Generally, we use those for our pre-service for most of the states. Those standalone classes will also have some self-paced classes like that. That's going to be consistent of your CDC milestone modules, we have a SIDS, special education, and some child guidance classes. And then you will also, out of class, be responsible for lots of research, about 80 pages of research, to be honest. If you have your CDAs already, this is also a part of the portfolio building and your resource collection, okay? So you will get credit for that in this class. In addition to the self-paced standalones, the CDC modules, your research, you also get credit for your writing. Now, that writing in itself, guys, is going to have to include, Peggy, you can't see it at all? It's not working for you? You're just going to push through and listen? No worries, Peggy. Your writing is also going to be, a part of your writing will include so if you've taken CDA before, there are guidelines for your writing. However, with this program, because you're getting that 120 clock hours and we're only meeting technically about 12 hours, then that writing has to include information from your course and your research. Okay, so we're really specific about that piece. So it is a fast track. However, we don't want you to think that just because you're sitting in 12 classes, that that's all that you have to do. Definitely not. So a lot of this is going to be accumulated through your time alone. So you have the 1 hour with us, and then we ask you to put at least 3.5 hours a week to the side so that you can work on these out of class instructional components. Okay. In addition to that, so we have the instructional, then we have what's called field exercises. Field exercise, the purpose of the field exercise is to support your planning to implementation. This component for your field exercise is also going to support your demonstration with your PDS visits, your verification visits. Also going to support and help you when you have like DHS visits, or someone comes in to monitor the program, class responsiveness, etc. So the field exercises actually, if you've had CDA before, are going to be your learning experiences, or count for your learning experiences. We do ask for you to do them in a specific format and plan, which is why we don't want you to go just by the book. Because if you go just by the book, you're going to miss out on your course criteria. So you'll meet the CDA criteria, but then you're not going to have your 120 clock hours. So it's so important for us to stay together and really focus on the instructions that we give you, because that is how you earn your 120 clock hours, guys. And if you haven't worked Head Start before, this is going to also support you in being what we consider Head Start ready. For you guys, how many of you guys are new to Head Start? If you will, just give me a green check mark. New to Head Start standards and Head Start criteria. Sorry. Rosalind, you've been in your Head Start program. How long have you been with your program? Okay, cool. Okay, so for you guys who are a little new to Head Start, there are standards that you have to meet, that are a little bit different than the state standards. Most of the time, as far as child development is concerned, it hits it exactly the same, but you will have some things that are a little bit different when it comes to sanitation, when it comes to competence in developmental appropriate practices, when it comes to responsiveness. So there are a couple of things there that are completely unique when it comes to Head Start. So that field exercise will also support your Head Start readiness and having the understanding of the expectation when you work with the children in the Head Start environment. Generally, it meets best practices. So if you've come from like a NACE program, then you're probably fine. You're probably already doing a lot of these things. And when you're in an environment that really fosters best practices, you generally don't have a problem with, kind of working through this piece. But it's very, very specific. The way that we like the criteria to be completed, we're hitting on in that criteria your competence. Okay, so what we're looking for in this component, when we, excuse me, I was like, sorry, I'm trying to talk and think and write at the same time. It's just not quite working for me tonight. What we're looking what we're looking for here is complete competence of your developmental appropriate practices, your ability to document, observe, and evaluate, plan, and implement to completion of an activity. Oftentimes, We're looking at the transition, materials, and how you determine or pre-assess. How you pre-assess the children and utilize your intentional strategies. So it's a pretty cool activity, but it is an activity that's worth 27 clock hours. And we are very specific about how we like it to be done, just so that you're good. And it also supports your PDS verification visits. So when they come out and monitor you, it'll also support that. In addition to that, it falls into 3 of your 8 subject area categories. So it'll hit 3 of 8 subject area categories. So do you think you can finish the class without doing the field exercise? What you guys think? Is it possible to finish this class without doing the field exercise, guys? It's worth 27 clock hours. It's also worth 3 of the 8 subject areas. Anybody think you can finish the class without it? Good guess, Shalisha. Absolutely not. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, guys. Not gonna happen. So when we assign the field exercise around the 6th or 7th week, guys, jump on it, complete it quickly, and get it back to us. It's so important and crucial. To you finishing. A lot of times people drag their feet, they get to that point and they're like, oh, well, I did everything else. Well, in an average classroom environment, guys, you can get away with a lot of things. You can kind of do your point system and get away with a B or a C, or even sometimes we could slide by with a D and still be okay. Well, credentialing is so specific. Everything that is being requested has to be there. So we don't have like a C and a B. It's either you get an A or you get an F. Okay? And it sounds kind of scary if you're an academic person, but it really isn't. It just means to do everything. We request you to do every single piece of what's being asked of you. And that kind of gets difficult for some people, especially if you're used to the academic world where you're like, we're weighing out what I can get away with, what I'm good at. I'll just do the things that I enjoy. As long as I do 80% of what I enjoy, I'm usually able to get away with it. Well, this process, you got to do 100% because every little thing that you don't do could be something that could bias your visit and also the investment of your investment, because this is your money, your investment towards your success of your credential could be biased, and you depend on us as a company to tell you what you need, do you have it right? Are you doing the right thing? So we're not trying to be your enemy. We want to be your friend through this. We don't want to be your frenemy. I know, I'm a cornball. But we just want to get through this with you and we want you to be successful. So please, guys, it's not that we're trying to be difficult at certain times. It's just that we know what works. We know what makes you great in the long, for the long term, not just for the little bit of time of credentialing. Right? We also know what you need to stay in that Head Start program and to make sure that Head Start program works for you, for your employer, for your community. We don't want you to go away. So we want to build a great foundation in not only what you do with the children, but being Head Start ready, okay? That makes sense, guys? And Ashley, I don't know what happened to your notes. I think those Adobe Gremlins got in the way. Sorry. I'll figure that out later. Alrighty. So that's step 1. Step 2 is the 480 hours of experience. I think that it's only 2 of you guys that will still be acquiring hours while you're working on this. That's absolutely fine. It is an honor system, and of course, it's a reflective of your ability. So, we're not saying you don't need 480 hours. You absolutely do, but it's not going to be a documented 480 hours. And you want to make sure that if you have 480 hours, no one's walking into that center and saying, how long have you been with the children? So let's talk about a word that's so important in your credentialing. When you think of competence, what comes to mind? What's something that comes to mind when you think of the word competence? If someone uses the word competence in a sentence and say, you know what, you were totally competent in that, you absolutely rocked it, what comes to mind? Correct. Knowledgeable, mentally and physically capable. You did a great job. Capable, skillful, understand what needs to be done, initiating it. Absolutely. All of these things, meeting the qualifications. Absolutely. So let me tell you a scenario and you tell me what needs to happen or how you feel about it. Um, I'm in a restaurant and I order soup. What should the waitress bring with my soup that will display that she's competent, that she knows this? Spoon, napkins, crackers, paper towel. Absolutely. The soup, exactly. Will it come in a bowl or a plate? Exactly. Okay, so now let's talk about this a little bit differently. If she brought you a plate of soup, how would you feel? What would be your reaction, or what would you think? Or some of the things you would think? Nice things. Yeah, confused. Absolutely confused. Unhappy. What would you think about her and her skill set or his skill set, the waiter or waitress's skill set? And she brought you a fork. Maybe she isn't meant for the job. I like that. Not capable, distracted, doesn't know what she's doing, doesn't know what's going on. Absolutely. So, in our industry, now that's for the restaurant industry. Okay, I see a couple more. I'm going to wait. Not capable of understanding. Okay. Not trained correctly. Absolutely. So in our industry, competence is also a component, and it comes with a set of indicators as well. We can do it as a consumer into a restaurant. We know exactly what we're looking for. If they don't wash their hands, we're like, don't want to be here. You saw them sweeping. They went directly to get your food. You're feeling some kind of way, right? You're like, I'm not sure if I want to eat this. If they bring you the wrong utensils, if they're not able to make the connection between what it is that you requested and what they brought. If they're distracted or if they're incapable of understanding, all of those things in itself start, or even if you've determined that they weren't meant for the job, those are the same things that we have in our industry. These are the same things that the parents think. These are the same things that other co-workers can think if we're not competent or we're unable to do something correctly. Some of our coworkers may be concerned or confused about if we're in the right field, or even, like Rosalind said, if we were trained properly or correctly. So those are the same things that happens anytime we see the word competence. Anytime there's competence that is in question or that someone is trying to prove, which is what this credential is about, is proving your competence, being able to show mastery of your competence. So if a PDS comes in and you're looking at the child and you're like, oh my gosh, what are those things coming out of their eyes? Why is it wet? Huh? Why are these little people doing these things? Like crying, are you talking about? You don't know what crying is? Or anything that the children may be doing that you're just so confused about what you do next. We're not, following the proper procedures. We're not using the proper tools. We're not looking at our safety procedures properly and utilizing them on an ongoing basis. Then that PDS or anyone in this industry could go down the same list and think that of you. So we want to master, we want to make sure that our 480 hours of experience is displayed in a positive way and it exhibits our competence. So that's the reason that it's there. It's not really that you have to prove that this is occurring, but it should definitely show up because we don't want anyone saying any of these things about anybody in this class on my shift. I'm just kidding. But no, we want to make sure that you're confident and that you are displaying competence properly. Good deal there. Step 3, Peggy, poor baby. I could just see all of your things coming in. I love your tenacity, but it has to be driving you crazy. Do you need me to remove some of these, Peggy? She's still trying. I understand and I get it. I took an online class, and in that I've taken quite a few, but this particular class that I took one time, I it was my technology thing. I promise you, Peggy. And I was just like so overwhelmed. I want you to just take a deep breath. And if you can just hear what we're saying, that's fine. You're fine. And I may have pulled the one that she can hear away. I'm trying. All right. I got some of them. Step 3, within 6 months before applying. Now, we're going to actually do this together, and we're not going to do it within 6 months. We're going to do it within our 12 weeks together. We'll be putting together that professional portfolio. And that is, it says here, completed by candidate. I want you guys to really, really take that into consideration because we're not going to be exchanging resources. We're not going to be using things that are on the internet as samples. We are going to build our own professional portfolio. We're not going to buy a portfolio off the internet. It says completed by candidate. That is what they request. So it doesn't mean that Chantel is going to give you all of these resources. You're going to research your own resources and get that list of resources yourself. Okay, guys, that's how we stay integral in our field. That also supports our learning style. So if everything that I'm saying is just like wah 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 wah, I sound like Charlie Brown adult, the teacher, that's okay, because when you start to do your research, you're going to be in your learning style, especially if you're extremely hands-on. You're going to be able to touch the material, feel the material, see the material, and it's going to make sense to you. For someone else, if you're very visual, you're going to see these resources, read these resources, and everything is going to make so much sense for you. So everyone's situation is so different and everyone's learning style is so different that please, guys, make sure that you complete your own resources. Some things will be similar in your state, like who governs your who governs the child care regulations in your state. Of course, that's going to be the same for everyone. That's fine. We expect that. But we don't expect you to find all the same theorists, and we don't expect you guys to use the exact same transition songs, and we don't expect, you getting it? So we do want to make sure that you are following the guidelines there, which brings us to what we have is a plagiarism policy. And I need to get that for you. That's going to be one of the, oops, sorry. You're going to do what's called, you're going to research the plagiarism policies, and you're going to also do what's called a commitment statement. And this is going to be in your portal under your lab for this week. So it's not there yet, but it'll be there probably tomorrow. Okay, guys? We just updated our website, so I'll make sure that you guys get a copy of the link for that. Uh-oh, can't get this together. It's my technology day too, Peggy, so don't feel bad. Your family questionnaires, you'll gather those as well, and that's going to be in your book. We won't talk about those until about the 6th week, okay? The next thing after we've done all of this information, we'll do the application. We're going to do that together before you do your scholarship, but you'll have what's called a readiness letter and a transcript. I think that you guys are they're gonna try to go for a scholarship for you guys. If not, I'm not exactly sure how she's doing that for 25, but just to make sure that whoever's investing in you, they'll get a what's called a readiness letter, and you'll also have your transcript reflecting your 120 hours. And we will locate a PDS together. The PDS, or the Professional Development Specialist, is going to, sorry guys, you guys are having quite a few technology issues. Sorry about that. The PDS is going to come out and observe you in your setting. You will know when they're coming. You'll be in communication with them prior to them arriving. It's not a pop-up visit, okay? So you'll absolutely know who they are. You'll have a telephone number. You'll talk to them. They'll make you feel very, very comfortable generally. And they'll come out and observe you and also verify your portfolio. Everything's going to be uploaded to us, but you'll also print off everything into your portfolio. So it's a two-step process there in your building your portfolio, which brings me to the third part of the class. So towards the end, all the class, everything that we do in the class goes into the portfolio. Your notes go into your portfolio. Any of the standalone certificates of completion go into the portfolio. All of your research is going to go into your portfolio. We will organize the portfolio together. Once you receive a readiness letter, okay? So you'll receive the readiness letter. That means that everything has been turned in. All of your standalone modules have been completed. All of your research has been completed. All of your field exercise has been completed. We're done with instructional. Then you will receive this readiness letter, and the readiness letter will also invite you to portfolio building. Now, similar to that of any credentialing, hairdressing, truck driving, welding, vocational schools, we're going to start together does not mean that we'll all end together. Okay? Somebody may get behind and they'll end up in a different class. Someone maybe a little bit slower to do their field exercises. Someone else may not finish their self-paced classes. So just because we're together and you'll see things on the agenda, if you fall behind, then these dates aren't going to apply to you. I'm going to do my best to keep us all together and give you, kind of watch your pace and give you all a couple of times. But this is your investment. Some of us only want to pay the $29 a month for the total of 3 months for the 12 weeks. Somebody else, if you get behind, you're going to still be paying. They're not going to be very happy if I stop the class for you. Does that make sense, guys? But if we're all collectively needing an additional week, then what's going to happen is collectively, then I may give a week because I don't see that anyone has turned anything in. And then we're all, elongating our time just a little bit. Some things are already built into the program. So even though we have the 12 weeks of class, we know that we have a couple of holidays. So that's already built into the program. And I think it's 2 admin days that's already built into the program. So those are fine. And then I think I have 1 work day built into the program. So don't be at a panic if I do say, you guys could work a little bit harder because those the general resources take generally 2 weeks for working people. So I may give you all an extra week for the general resources, and we won't meet in this class. Don't panic and say, oh, that's going to make us have to pay more money. Not necessarily. But if you're taking your time getting these things in, you will be in the program longer. All right? Give me a green check mark if that makes sense to you guys. I don't want anybody in the program longer than you have to be either. I like you guys, but I want you to finish. I'm on your team. I thought of the pay as we go incentive. I want it done and over with and keep it moving. Alrighty. So I am here with you. I am team you. Okay, so we'll do all this together. So then the candidate receives approval, the application is complete, and fee has been processed. So if you do a scholarship and they do a paper fee, you're going to get indicator on your portal as well. And that takes a little bit longer. So even though we're finishing in our 12 weeks, if Miss Peggy's using a scholarship or something like that, or if y'all are going for a scholarship or someone else is paying for that next piece, you may not finish and have your CDA in your hand in 12 weeks, but you'll have everything else completed and you'll just be waiting for payment. The 5th step, within 6 months of the council's approval of completed application, verification, and we're going to do this all together. So again, it says 6 months, but once the application is done, you're already going to be ready for all of this. So verification visit conducted by the CDA PD. Choose the candidate, review the professional portfolio. They'll review the family questionnaires, the certificates, they'll do observation. They also do what's called a reflective dialogue, which is why you also have a coach who's going to actually talk to you on the phone sometimes. And sometimes I'll also pull you into a breakout session and talk to you on the phone because we want to make sure that you're comfortable with what you have and you're able to explain components here and there as we get into especially that field exercise. Candidate will take a CDA exam at a local Pearson VUE testing center. So that is a 65 question multiple choice question test, okay? We haven't seen anybody fail it. I think only one person in the last 5 years have failed it, but we're really good at what we do. So generally you guys hear our voices or you already have the experience before you even came to the class. So we'll double check your knowledge in different areas, but we don't see that people fail that often with our program. Step 6, after verification visit and CDA exam, professional development specialist sends verification visit scores to the council online. The Pearson View sends the scores, and the council awards or denies you the credential. As long as you guys are not allowing yourself to get tripped up in any way and you're printing out your documents and you're placing them into your portfolio, you will leave this class with confidence. All right? If your portfolio is not growing after you've collected resources, that means that you've missed something. Everybody give me a green check mark if you understand. If you have nothing in your sheet protectors about the 6th week of class, you missed something. Your portfolio should be growing. Every time we give an assignment, you should be putting it in the sheet protector. We should use up all 100 sheet protectors by the end of this class. That is the way that you can test or check your knowledge. If you don't see your sheet protectors growing, you're like, something's wrong. We're not even building our portfolio. Then that means that you missed something. You need to come back. You need to call me. You need to find out what you missed. Okay, so Cynthia, let me know if you understand that concept. Everything you turn in needs to go into the portfolio, Shalisa. Everything that you turn in needs to go into the portfolio. So anytime you upload a resource, it needs to go in there. Cynthia, let me know that you understand that concept, please. Cynthia, you still there with us? Yes, Your CPR, first aid, and your high school diploma needs to go into your portfolio. Absolutely. Good question, Zoe. Your notes will be going into your portfolio as well. The notes can go into one sheet protector. You don't have to put those in several sheet protectors. The notes can go into one sheet protector. That's fine. But we do want your notes in your portfolio as well. Diploma or transcript? Yeah, diploma or a college transcript. Any proof of graduation. Absolutely. All right, Cynthia, you're still there with us. I'm going to bump her out. Maybe her system froze. Okay. So, yeah, everything goes in. Let's see. Oh, if once you take your once you have your CDA, your verification visit, they'll put the scores in. If you do your test after, within 24 hours, you'll know. Vice versa, if you do your test first and then your PDS visit, once they put it in there, you'll know within 24 hours on your portal, okay? They don't have to, they'll send it out. It takes them about a month or so to get it mailed out, but you pretty much know if you've passed, that you've passed. That's all included in the 425. The PDS visit, the application, and the test is all included in that 425. Cool beans. Alrighty, so the things that you're going to do this week is going to be the plagiarism policy and your commitment statement. We're going to also get you, oops, I'm going to take this goes actually up at the top. I'm going to actually start you guys on your general resources, because these are going to help us through our next piece, which is going to be the NACE Code of Ethical Conduct. So your general resources, it's about 45 resources on there. Ooh, I'm trying to think if I want to. I'm thinking, guys. Bear with me, okay? don't like to go over, but I'm going to go over just a little bit. About 7 minutes. Does everyone have like 7 minutes where I can go over? I need about 7 minutes. So that's going to put us probably around 8:10. What is it, your time? 9:10? Is that okay? I know you guys are tired. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, give me 1 second. I want to go ahead and give you all your general resource collection because no one had a problem with uploading, so this should be cool to give to you guys. And what's going to happen? I'm giving it to you this week, and then I'll give it to you this week. Yeah, these are week 2 notes, correct? I'm sorry. It does say days. Sorry, sorry. Thank you for picking that up. Um, yeah, I'll give it to you this week, and then we won't have class again until November the 1st. Okay? No class until November the 1st. It's so important to have everything off of this resource list that I'm about to give you, okay? Because we're going to use it when we talk about NACI, and you're going to actually be using the components. So everything in this resource list, I want you guys to have, I also want you to put it into your sheet protectors and upload it. I'll give you 2 weeks to do that, so the next class is not until November the 1st. Bear with me. Let me go ahead and pull that up. And it's going to be in your agenda as well, okay? Sorry for the silence. I'm pulling this up and I'm scoring out. Every time I go to a class that I think it should be in, I'm actually pulling a class that doesn't have it in. That's so weird. All right. I'm going to give you another pod so that we can go through these. Sorry, Peggy. Oh, yeah, definitely, Ashley. And you may not be the only one. Everything that I'm talking about today is new. Everything that we're talking about today is new. No one's heard anything that you just heard. The only thing that you don't have is how to do the portal. That's it, okay? But we definitely will. Is anybody else confused? Because I kind of, okay, Ashley, I'll definitely pull some time. Give me 1 sec. All right, so this is going to be the resource collection that you will actually research. Okay, so you're going to research these theorists right here. So Howard Gardner, Erik Erikson, Maria Montessori, Vygotsky, and Piaget. Those are going to be people that you're going to research. You're going to use your Google. Okay, you're going to Google search. And that's for everything on here. You can use your Google search. The biggest thing here for these for these 5 theorists right here, you're going to Google search and write a short summary. So you're going to Google and write a short summary for these first 5, for these theorists. Let me know if I lost anybody here. For everything else, you see your CPR first aid. That's a part of your collection that you should already have. And then you see first aid policies. First aid policies here are going to meet Head Start standards. Okay? Your first aid policies can be preventative, about bloodborne pathogens, or injury procedures. Hand washing guidelines. So these are like procedures. And it can be a picture. If you all have a picture at your center, you can take that picture. If you know where to get a poster or you see an image, you can use it. So the hand washing guidelines, you know how it says step 1, run under the water. Step 2, lather up with soap. Make sure that you get your fingernails. Step 3, come up through the arms, rinse off, dry off. Whatever you have is a procedure. The sanitizer solution recipe is your bleach water recipe. How often should you be changing that bleach water? How often should you change bleach water? Does anybody know? Yeah, every 24 hours, every day. Absolutely. So that's a part of your sanitizing procedure. Diapering procedure. Even if you do 3 to 5, you should still know the diapering procedures to keep yourself safe and to keep the children safe in the event that you have children with special needs. So you still want to have your diapering procedures. CACFP meal patterns for the age of the children in your care. So if you're doing 3 to 5, you want to at least print out for 3 to 5. The same thing for Myplate. There's a new guideline with the CACFP meal pattern. So with the new guidelines, Myplate guidelines, we should all know that USDA follows the Myplate, no longer the food pyramid. The food pyramid was replaced in 2011, so we should know what the Myplate guidelines look like. CDC milestone, and this is a checklist. Weekly plan for the age of the children in your care. Know what curriculum you use in your environment. Have a sample of Mighty Minutes. Have a classroom schematic, sample of a schedule that you use in your class, and if you're a floater, any of the classes that you volunteer for, just choose one. 9 sample child care transition songs. You can use Google, or if they're with your curriculum, that's fine. I don't want you guys using the same ones. So, if they come with your curriculum and, there are variants to them, then that's fine. But I prefer you guys to find some transition songs through Google. Your program confidentiality policy and what FERPA is. Okay? I want you to research these things. And then Ashley, I'm available between 12 and 2, Monday through Friday. So anytime between 12 and 2, do you have a lunch during that time? Okay, that's fine. Anytime between that time, 12 and 2, just give me a call and we'll talk about it, okay? Okay, that's fine. Friday is fine as well, Peggy. Yes, yes, that's correct, Aaron. Aaron asks a really good question. Um, so for the theorist, you're going to Google and search the theorist. So you'll look, give me 1 second. I'm going to screen share. I know you guys, I know it's late. I'm sorry. No, 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 no apologies. No apologies. You're fine. 1 second. I know it's late. Yeah, guys, if you can just hold out just a little bit longer. I know some of you guys are on information overload completely. But it's just bear with me. Okay, so if you put the theorist in, lots of different things come up. So as you can see here, this is talking about his particular theory, the theory of multiple intelligence, Howard Gardner's theory. Even if you just put Howard Gardner, it gives you that drop down of different things. So you can actually pull the information about him, but you want to research something that's going to only be about 2 to 3 pages. You don't want a 20-page, because remember, you only have 100 sheets. We don't want to overwhelm our PD completely. So anywhere between 1 to 3 pages about who he is would be sufficient. But it's very important for you to find information about his theory. We love to know when he was born and all that stuff, but what's more important is his theory, and so that you can understand what his theory is. Okay? If you were to look here and it just gives you this information. This isn't really a lot about who he is, so that isn't gonna. Oh, this visit. Okay, this page is. It looks like it's under some type of repair, so it doesn't really give a lot of information. So as you can see, you have to kind of research and play with this stuff a little bit. You can use Wikipedia. We don't mind you using Wikipedia. But if you're going to use Wikipedia, make sure that you highlight the information when it comes to his theory. Because you see here, right here, this is where it's going to talk about his theory, but it's only right here. If you want to, you can click, and then it gives a little bit more about his theory there. Because it's important for you. Here it is right here. You see that? So you click and you have that. So you could probably print out this page, and that would be acceptable. You can print these 2 pages. This will be 1 page, and the other one is about 2 pages. And you just literally print it out. Print it out. You have it. So that one is 1 page. Oh, no, 2 pages. So that's 2 pages. And then the other one will be 3 pages. So that's fine. But you don't want 3, 4, that's fine. Not like 20, guys. Not 20. But the biggest thing for you is to make sure that you read and you actually see the theory. Because you can't write a summary about the person if everything that you pulled was just about who they are. We want you to write a summary about the theory. So this actually gives you more about the theory. And you want to talk about the theory. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. 23 different things, absolutely, by the next class. And the next class is November 1st. So you have 2 weeks to do it and work on it. And it needs to be uploaded and print. Yep, uploaded and put into your portfolio. Absolutely. Good questions, Erin. Guys, don't apologize about me getting your questions answered, because your questions are someone else's questions as well. That's fine, Erin. You can email me. I probably won't respond until 12 to 2, anytime between 12 and 2, because those are my office hours. She's counting. She was just counting a possible of. Amanda, these are the things that she's counting. She counted approximately 23 things here. That's the Howard Gardner, Eric Erickson, Maria Montessori, Vygotsky, Piaget. You need to have your CPR, your first aid, your first aid policies, your high school diploma, bloodborne pathogens, hand washing guidelines. Amanda, do you not see those things? It's just the list. Oh, you don't see any of that. Okay, good, good, good for you to say that. Okay, Amanda, I'm moving it around. I and I definitely prefer you to give me a call, because it's not a trainer. Erin, I know you're giving great information, but you never heard of that telephone game. So what happens sometimes is someone tells you something, but they've missed something. Someone else tells you something, and then everyone's kind of doing it incorrectly. So definitely, guys, give me a call if you have a question. No problem. No problem. I mean, I do want you to help each other as well, but together y'all can call just to make sure that you got it right. Amanda, I'm also going to put it in your out of class labs in the agenda, okay? Just in case you guys don't see it. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes, depending on your system, you may be missing things. Oh, no problem, no problem. There are 5 people, correct? Sure, no problem. Thank you for saying that. Because I don't know if you don't see it. Okay, good questions, guys. I hope this helps. I'm definitely available. I do want you guys to help each other, Erin. I don't want that to come across wrong. I do want you guys to help each other, but I do want to also make sure that we're accurately supporting each other. It's late. Thank you. Give me a pass. But yeah, no problem. And Ashley, you're doing a great job. I know this is a lot, especially for the first day, kind of thrown at you. But I'll definitely support you through it. And if anyone else is overwhelmed, please give me a call this week so that we can talk about it and dechunk it. Don't just get overwhelmed and go away. Just give me a call. We'll work on chunking it. All right, guys. You all have a great evening, and thank you for giving me a little bit more time. You all take care.